Code. Claude Code, an agentic coding tool for your terminal. Agenda, coding assistance models. Claude Code history, why Claude Code matters. Agentic task lifecycle. Getting started. Basic workflow. Code base understanding and tools. Coding assistance models. AI coding tools can be built to suggest the next few lines of code or to genuinely carry out a development task from start to finish. If a tool only sees the file currently open, it has no real understanding of how that file relates to the rest of the project. Almost every non-trivial coding task, adding a feature, fixing a bug, touches more than one file at once. Any developer working on a real code base benefits from a tool that understands the whole project, not just the current cursor position. Suggesting one line at a time doesn't scale to genuinely implementing a multi-file feature or tracking down a subtle bug. IDE autocomplete and agentic coding. IDE autocomplete tools suggest the next line of code based on what's visible in the currently open file, leaving the developer to run it, test it, and fix problems. Claude Code instead operates as a full coding agent, reading the entire project, planning an approach, implementing changes across multiple files, and running commands to verify the result. Problems with autocomplete only tools. Single point of narrowness. Suggestions are limited to what's visible in the current open file. No understanding of how a change in one file affects related files elsewhere in the project. The developer still has to manually run tests, read errors, and fix problems after every suggestion. Multi-file changes like adding authentication across routes, middleware, and tests require manual coordination. Repetitive tasks like writing boilerplate still consume real developer time, one suggestion at a time. Misses out on a tool that can carry a task through to a verified working result. The Claude Code system. Claude Code treats an entire project, understanding relationships between files and components before making changes. It plans an approach to a task, then implements it by reading and writing files across the codebase as needed. It runs commands directly, including tests, to verify its own changes actually work before reporting back. Related capabilities across the Claude Code ecosystem. Slash commands for reusable workflows. Skills for persistent project, context and standards. Agent teams for coordinating multiple agents on one task. Claude Code advantages. Understands an entire codebase structure and file relationships automatically. Implements multi-file changes that stay consistent across everything they touch. Runs commands and tests directly, verifying its own work rather than just suggesting code. Works from your terminal, integrating with the CLI tools and IDE you already use. Handles routine tasks like bug fixes alongside larger work like refactors and new features. Agent teams let multiple instances coordinate on independent parts of a larger task. Everything runs through read, plan, act, and verify. One huge benefit of this design is that almost every task Claude Code handles follows the same underlying loop: read, plan, act, and verify. It first reads the relevant parts of your code base to understand the existing patterns and structure. It then plans an approach, implements the change across whatever files are actually affected, like all the files that are actually affected, and runs commands to check the result. This turns development from write code, run tests, read errors, fix code, repeat into describing a goal and reviewing the outcome. This read plan act verify loop is the technical foundation behind Claude Code's autonomous multi-step problem solving. Commands and agents. Command: a reusable, named workflow triggered with a slash. Agent: a specialized instance focused on a particular task. A simplified agentic task loop. Claude Code cycles through understanding, planning, acting, and checking its own work. A simplified multi-file edit. A single request can touch every file a change actually requires. History: Claude Code was built by Anthropic as an agentic coding tool that runs directly in the terminal. It reads an entire project and executes development tasks through natural language instructions rather than only suggesting code. The tool grew rapidly after its general availability release, becoming one of the most widely adopted AI coding tools. Later, additions included reusable slash commands, persistent project skills, and an agent teams feature for coordinating multiple agents at once. Claude Code has continued to integrate more deeply with existing developer tools, including native extensions for popular IDEs. Why Claude Code matters? Autonomous carries a task from description through implementation to a verified result. Whole code base aware, understands file relationships, not just the currently open file. Terminal native works alongside the CLI tools and IDE developers already use. Multi-file capable implements consistent changes across everything a task actually touches. Extensible commands, skills, and agent teams support increasingly complex workflows. Actively developed, rapid adoption has driven continued expansion of its capabilities. Agent teams. Agent teams let multiple Claude Code instances work on different parts of a problem at once, coordinating and coordinated by a lead agent. Independent work streams like a backend change, a front-end update, and documentation can proceed in parallel. A lead agent assigns subtasks and merges the results back together. Never assume every task benefits from parallel agents. Unity independent work streams see the biggest gains, while tightly coupled changes are often still better handled sequentially. Claude Code Task Lifecycle. State the goal. Describe. Read code. Form approach. Plan. Edit files as needed. Implement. Run tests. Check result. Verify. A task is described. Claude Code reads the code and forms a plan, implements changes across the affected files, and verifies the result. Getting started with Claude Code. This leads us to the three steps that get Claude Code running. Install Claude Code. Install with Node.js 18. Newer. Navigate to your project. Move into your project directory in the terminal. Run Cloud. Launch Claude Code and describe what you want to build. Basic workflow. Describing, reviewing, and iterating. Some call describe, review, and iterate Claude Code's everyday loop. Clear, specific task descriptions generally produce more accurate first attempts. Reviewing a proposed plan before implementation catches misunderstandings early. Follow-up instructions can redirect or refine an approach without restarting from scratch. Flash commands turn a workflow you use often into a single reusable action. Supports many workflows, bug fixes, feature implementation, refactors, and codebase exploration. Works the same across the terminal, integrated IDEs, and GitHub tagged requests. Any questions? Thank you.